Should you pay in-state sales tax on items you buy online, even if you don't live in that particular state? Well, the Supreme Court is set to consider this issue next month, but as our Washington, D.C. Bureau reporter Samantha Jo Roth tells us, some lawmakers want to get ahead of the High Court with legislation.
When you're shopping online, sometimes you're charged sales tax and sometimes you're not. That soon could change if the U.S. Supreme Court overturns a 26-year-old ruling, which found only companies with a physical presence like a store or warehouse in a state are required to collect sales tax.
What that means for individuals that are making purchases online is previously where a business may not have had to collect tax for them. Now they're going to have to collect that tax, and all of those purchases are going to be that 5, 6, 7, 8, 9% more expensive.
Requiring out-of-state retailers to collect sales tax is something Andrew Moylan with the conservative National Taxpayers Union says will also hurt small businesses, not big box retailers.
Amazon will probably be able to deal with that okay. They have, enough accountants and software systems and such. It's a real burden for the businesses that are going to be forced to comply with the tax laws of states that they have no presence in today. They could be required to comply with audits in states all across the country.
If the Supreme Court decides to uphold a law requiring out-of-state retailers to collect sales tax, it would not only potentially impact consumers, but change the way states raise revenue. The Nonpartisan Government Accountability Office estimates that state and local governments could have collected up to $13 billion more in 2017 if they'd been allowed to collect sales tax from online purchases.
States have been very aggressive in the way that they've treated these out-of-state online retailers.
Nicole Kading with the Tax Foundation says states should have the power to impose online sales tax on remote sellers. But she'd like the court to provide more clarity on how states should actually proceed.
The burden of the law should be in proportion to the amount of revenue that's being collected. So in a state like South Dakota, that's a fairly small threshold because it's a smaller state. If you were to think about a state like California or New York, that threshold should be higher than it is in South Dakota.
Congress has the power to regulate interstate commerce in the U.S. Constitution. However, lawmakers have been hesitant to take action at the federal level until now. A bipartisan group of lawmakers are pushing to clear the way for a new online sales tax, including it within a federal spending bill, before the Supreme Court issues a decision.
There has been some movement to attach legislation to that vehicle to clarify this that would make the Supreme Court case moot. That is an uphill battle and one that will be tough to get through Congress in the next week and a half.
Not all lawmakers are in agreement that states should be able to cash in.
We should not be putting sales taxes on the internet. That is a serious mistake. It's a policy mistake.
Whether or not online sales tax makes it into the legislation will be determined next week when the big spending bill is unveiled. Oral arguments on this case at the Supreme Court are scheduled for April 17th, with a final decision possible in June.